The Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, drag queens who dress up like nuns. And apparently they've been around since the 1970s. The Dodgers have reinvited them to Pride Night after cutting them. Now I have a question for the left. Wouldn't this be hate speech? Like if a dude put on blackface and went around and danced around, that's insulting to black people. That's why people get canceled for doing blackface. This right here is a really excellent example of the hypocrisy of the left and why y'all shouldn't take them seriously. Now, if you're a tribalist and you just hate another group of people, then you're probably okay with men dressing up like female religious women and insulting them and mocking their religion. You're probably going to say, well, they're bad people, therefore it's justified. Yeah, hatred exists for this reason. You know what I think it is? I think the tribalist left genuinely just think that people on the right, for no reason, hate a particular group of people. That's the idea they tend to convey. When in reality, what they describe as hate may actually be something like genuine concern. You got Billboard Chris, for example. He's the guy, he wears the sandwich board of corrugated plastic, he says. And he says children can't consent to puberty blockers. They would say, you just hate. Well, no, he's got a clearly defined concern. I think what you see on the left with stories like this perfectly exemplifies it. The left just hates. Not all of them, not every single person. But there is at its core people pushing something like suppression of free speech. They say they want to ban hate speech, when in reality, they just want to silence anyone who disagrees with them and their political ideology. Because if the left really cared about diversity and banning hate speech, they would not celebrate men insulting to one of the most extreme degrees Christians. But they hate Christians, genuinely. Despite the fact there are a lot of Christians who are calm, normal people, and there are a lot of churches, which Christians would probably describe as not Christian, that are embracing a lot of this stuff anyway. My point with this story, let me read a little bit for you. The LA Dodgers announced that the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence, a well-known San Francisco order of queer and trans nuns, has existed since the 1970s, are once again welcome to the team's annual Pride Night. Last week, the baseball team rescinded the group's invitation after a Republican senator from Florida wrote a letter accusing the Sisters, a group which came to prominence during the AIDS crisis, of being anti-Christian activists. The group, which does charitable and protest work in addition to its street drag show performances, was set to receive an award during a ceremony before a 16th of June game against the San Francisco Giants. Some conservative Roman Catholics and politicians, including Florida's Republican Senator Marco Rubio, had accused the group of mocking nuns and the Christian faith. Rubio's press office had celebrated the Dodgers' exclusion of the nuns last week with an email blast titled, "Rubio knocks out wokeism from the LA Dodgers." On Monday, in the face of outrage from the LGBTQ groups across the country, the baseball team reversed course. "We have asked the Sisters of Perpetual Indulgence to take their place." Okay, yeah, you get the point. Conservatives, file a lawsuit. Look, I'm all about free speech. I don't care if this group wants to come and do a performance. I mean, their questions about drag shows for children at a baseball game, probably not appropriate. But in terms of a show that is intended to convey a message that does not contain sexual ideas, that is, if they're dressed like nuns wearing robes and they're just intending to mock Christians, fine, go ahead and do it. I just don't want to associate with you. Much like if a bunch of people went out and did blackface, I wouldn't want to associate with them either. Like, I just kind of like the don't be a dick kind of thing. But to be fair, I think we have gone past the point of no return in the culture war, and people just genuinely despise the ideology of the other to the point where there is no mending it. There is no conversation to be had. These people are grooming children. So it's just like, yeah, I don't care. But you want to have a culture war? We'll have a culture war. If you are a conservative in Los Angeles, you must file a lawsuit for religious discrimination. The state does not have the right to mock openly a religion, and these are the laws passed by the left. So embrace it. Embrace it. They want to say no religious ideological indoctrination in schools, yet they bring about their insane cult ideology in the schools as it is. They are saying one thing and doing another. I'm not a fan of that. So here's what you do. If you live in California, you have standing and you can file a claim for religious discrimination. They are openly mocking and insulting you based on your religious beliefs. Religion is a protected class. The left would not tolerate a bunch of right-wingers dressing up like offensive stereotypes of any other group of people. But when it comes to Christians, they're absolutely okay with it because they hate you. Okay, well, that's what the law is supposed to be preventing. If you're Christian, you can be able to live your life and do your thing. You can advocate for what you want to advocate for. If the left wants to advocate against Christians, they're also allowed to do that. But if you're going to have a public accommodation where you welcome in the public, but then you openly mock one group of people, I think it's fair to say that violates the left's own rules. And therefore, Rules for Radicals dictates it's time to play hardball. And this is where we're at. They celebrate this. In the new statement, the Dodgers said they will continue working with LGBTQ plus partners to better educate them ourselves, find ways to strengthen the ties that bind us, and use our platform to support all our fans who make up the diversity of the Dodgers family. Among the groups who said they were dropping out of the Dodgers' 10th annual Pride Night was the Sisters. With the Sisters was LA Pride. Blah blah blah. Yada yada. We get it. The group denied it was anti-Catholic. On its website, the group said it uses humor and irreverent wit to expose forces of bigotry, complacency, and guilt that chain the human spirit. A longtime LA area Catholic nun and Dodgers fan, Sister Joanne D. Quattro, also wrote a letter to the LA Times in support of the queer group, saying the Catholic vote, one of the conservative political groups pushing for the sisters' exclusion, does not speak for me and my many sisters. De Quattro wrote that the sisters are performing what we have traditionally called the corporal works of mercy. Yeah, they're not. On Saturday, the mayor of Anaheim, Ashley Aitken, tweeted an invitation for the sisters to join her for the LA Pride Night on June 7th. This is where we are, my friends, in the culture war. The left will openly mock your religion while arguing that hate speech must be banned. I think everybody should be able to make fun of everybody's religion. I believe a person should be able to make fun of anybody they want, for any reason they want. I believe that crimes should not be criminally charged. People should not be criminally charged for crimes because of their motivations, but for the actions that they did. Hate crimes make no sense. But of course, this will all be weaponized against you because these people are cultists who dress in crazy ways and believe crazy things. They want to sterilize and castrate children. They're doing it all now. Now, I'm not a Christian, not a big fan of organized religion as it is. Personally, I do believe in God. But what does that really mean to you? There's a lot of things that it could mean. And to people who are religious, they probably perceive that as something closer to what they believe. I'm not an atheist. I do believe that there is a God, but I believe it's more of an Einsteinian God. I think we as science understanding individuals can recognize that a greater power, whatever it may be, whatever form it may take, does exist. That is to say, I don't view it as a person. I don't view it in the traditional Christian way. But who knows what that really means? I mean, I think that we in this universe are but small, tiny specks in a great and massive reality that we can barely understand. But I digress. What I see here is chaos and order. And chaos is taking hold and gaining an advantage and strengthening over order. There should be a propensity towards order. There should be, in this world, organization. We make things better. We make things work better. We create complex systems. We go to the moon. We go to the stars. We make more people. We make life safer. We make people stronger. We make them better. But what we've seen with the far left over the past decade is that they have begun to dominate the conversation into chaos, self-indulgence, and decay. And if that persists, we as a people cease to exist. War, crisis, famine, disorder. You've got economic crises right now. Chaos is taking hold. I take a look at the works of Elon Musk and I see a propensity towards order. Colonizing the stars can help humans survive forever, planting those seeds. This hypocrisy, absolute hypocrisy. You can have disdain for the Catholic Church. You can have disdain for all Christians. You can openly mock them, but you cannot advocate for laws to ban hate speech and then come out and openly mock a religion claiming that you're not. Because if this is the game you want to play, nothing is stopping people on the right from doing the same thing for trans people or for other LGBTQ plus people. You can't have it both ways. The fact that they're trying to show is that all they really want is power. Sorry, I don't play that game. You are hypocrites and you are liars. And so you will get nothing from me. I'll leave it there. Next segment's coming up in a few minutes. Stick around, and I'll see you all shortly.